A Florida woman was arrested for attacking her wife with nachos. A Florida woman pleads guilty of smacking her neighbor with a 10-pound meat stick. A Florida woman threatened to blow the heads off some children for fishing near her property. And a Florida woman was arrested for sharing explicit Chihuahua sexual content. These are the weird stories on Friday. They're all from the state of Florida. It's Florida Friday on Weird AF News. All of the weird news from this week out of the state of Florida. Let's go. A Florida woman was arrested for attacking her wife with nachos. It was a nacho-related attack. Nacho, typical Florida story. Actually, it is. I've covered many stories of domestic assaults involving various foodstuffs. People attacking one another with the Thanksgiving turkey, with pizza, and now we have nachos, which can be a dangerous weapon if the cheese is extremely hot. Let's find out if there are any serious injuries here and if this couple is going to stay together. We have a Port St. Lucie, Florida woman facing criminal charges after a bizarre domestic incident involving nacho cheese that escalated into violence. You wouldn't think people would get violent around nachos. Nachos bring people together. It's a very communal dish. We all dip in. You make sure your fingers are clean, of course, and no double dipping. But, nachos are great for just bringing people together. Well, this couple is splitting over nachos, it sounds like. Allison Swan, the Florida woman, age 39, has been charged with one count of battery causing bodily harm. Battery with nachos. The incident reportedly unfolded at the couple's home in I'm so sorry, I keep saying Port St. Lucie. It's Port St. Lucie, which is 50 miles north of West Palm Beach if you're keeping score at home. And now for more details of the incident. I know you're on the edge of your seat here. You want to know about this nacho attack. Details of the incident were outlined in a report. Here's what happened. Officers responded to a 911 call. Help, police! I've been attacked by hot cheese. It's a spicy quesadilla. So the officers responded to the 911 call from a third party was involved, who claimed to hear their friend being attacked by her wife, Swan. Her wife's name is Swan. Upon arrival, Swan told the police that everything was fine. Everything's fine, just fine. You gonna trust somebody with the name Swan? Is that a real name? Everything's fine over here. Do not follow that trail of cheese, please. Swan described her wife as drunk to the police. She denied any physical altercation, claimed her wife's alleged drunken rage had led her to barricade herself in their bedroom. However, the wife presented a different story. Get out of here. Two Florida women have a disagreement on who the victim is. According to the, quote, victim, the altercation began when Swan criticized her for eating nachos late at night. All right. Who criticized anybody for eating nachos late at night? That's the time to eat nachos. Late at night. Really any time, but it's a perfect time. Nachos late at night. Unless you have acid reflux issues, which it sounds like, these women are at that age where it could be a problem. And nachos late at night can be hazardous if you have the reflux. I know I, for one, can't really do it unless I use my acid reflux ramp from my bed. Then I can eat the nachos late at night. Then I just lay on my ramp, so it keeps the acid down. The acid doesn't crawl up into my face and murder me in the middle of the night. It's still it's not the best night's sleep, though, I got to be honest with you. So maybe nachos late at night is not okay for the Florida woman, and Swan was just expressing that. Okay, so it says Swan criticized her for eating nachos late at night and made a comment about her weight. Okay, so Swan's like, eating late night, although she has a point. If you have a weight issue, eating late at night is also not the best approach. Maybe eat the nachos for breakfast. But then again, you want to eat them when they're fresh. So if they're just hot out of the oven, it's just tough to resist them when they're fresh. During the argument, it says Swan allegedly grabbed a handful of nachos and shoved them down the back of her wife's pants. It's a strange reaction. It's a strange place to put the nachos, too. Were you going to give her a nacho wedgie after that? I don't understand that attack. It's like, and then, are you really pressing charges? This is like, they say, what do the cops say? It's at one count of battery causing bodily harm. I don't know. I mean, you just shove nachos down her pants. That's like, I don't know. Can you be arrested for battery if you shove a paper plate full of whipped cream in someone's face? Is that battery as well? Look at me trying to make sense of Florida stories. The situation escalated when the situation's already escalated because the nachos were shoved down someone's pants. That's I mean, I don't know, they say it escalated when the victim attempted to change clothes. No, I think it escalated when your partner shoved nachos down your pants. And I mean, how hot was that cheese? Maybe there was some damage to an ass crack. You know, maybe it was like second-degree ass crack burns with that hot nachos cheese down the back of your pants. So it says the situation escalated when the victim attempted to change clothes. Swan followed her, shoved her against the wall, dragged her to the bedroom by her hair, and pinned her face down on the floor. While Swan's got an issue. Despite having such a very lovely name of a very beautiful bird, Swan doesn't act in any sort of beautiful behavioral manner. The victim told police, quote, "She shoved her fingers into either side of my mouth, hooking them like a fish." All right, well, that's a little weird. Hooking her mouth like a fish? What is? I never heard of that maneuver. Although she just gave her a nacho wedgie, so Swan's into some strange tactics. She's been watching too much WW wrestling. WWE, what is it now? I don't follow wrestling. It used to be WWF, and then it was WWE. Now I don't know what it is. WWTF. Okay, let's find out what Swan did next after hooking her mouth with a fish. Did she also give her a noogie while she was at it? Swan allegedly continued the assault by slamming the victim's head into the floor multiple times and throwing water on her. Investigators noted physical evidence that corroborated the victim's account. Stains consistent with nacho cheese were found on the wall outside of the bedroom. Oh boy. Exhibit A, we have here cheese on the ceiling. Do you think the police actually dipped their finger in and tried it? Yes. Looks to me like it was a bit of Monterey Jack was used, but let's send it to the lab to make sure. Officers also observed a hematoma on the victim's forehead and scratches on her arm. What is a hematoma? I have no idea. Oh, I look just like hematoma. Oh, hanging out with Swan. Okay, it also says there was a small hole in the wall that matched the victim's elbow. Really? What did you just grab the victim? Put your elbow in there. Let's see if it matches. It's gonna match most elbows, I would assume, right? How do you know it's her elbow? I mean, do elbows really have this stand-apart quality? That's just like... Well, I mean, if she has a hairy elbow and there was some hair residue in the hole, then yeah, that matches the victim's elbow. But just because it's a hole in the wall, how do you even know that? You see a hole in the wall, how do you know it's an elbow? It's not from a fist or something, or a foot or a knee. Very strange police procedures over here. Now, Swan denies the allegations, claiming that her wife threw the nachos herself and rolled around in the cheese. What, with her pants half down? Yeah, that seems like natural behavior during a fight. However, officers noted inconsistencies. No way! A Florida woman with inconsistencies in her account, including the discovery of cheese inside the victim's pants, which contradicted Swan's versions of the events. The police report also says it should be noted that the plate that the nachos were on was ceramic and completely intact. I love how they're going full CSI on this investigation. Your community resources at work, guys. They spent 3 days taped off the scene. Swan was arrested the night of the incident and later posted bond. So she's back out on the streets. Be careful. You might find yourself victim to a drive-by cheesing, or she might get crazy with a poo-poo platter. Might be a poo-poo platter victim this weekend. A Florida woman pleads guilty after smacking her neighbor with a 10-pound meat stick at a Walmart. Well, it sounds like these two have some beef, and they weren't able to meet in the middle over it. And I assume their relationship has been completely butchered now that one of them attacked the other one with a meat stick. I don't know what a meat stick is. I mean, I know what a meat stick could be. There's many examples of meat sticks in the culture. So, I mean, it could have been a number of things. Could have been a sausage, a kielbasa, a Slim Jim, perhaps some. It could be pepperoni. That's a form of meat stick, although they're usually not that big, 10 pounds. Then there's the old meat stick, the old meat stick. We don't have to get into details. You know it. You know that old meat stick. I assume she didn't have one of these, although you don't know. It's 2025. She could have been packing a meat stick of her own. So we have here this Florida woman who admitted to walloping her estranged neighbor with a 10-pound log of ground beef. So it was a log of ground beef. I would not have guessed. I've never purchased ground beef in log format. My hunch is it's not going to be quality ground beef if it comes in a log format. But then again, I've eaten chicken nuggets my whole life, and that's not the best format for chicken either. So she attacked her neighbor with this log of ground beef after running into her at a Walmart. Couldn't you just wait till you get back to the hood? You had to do it in a Walmart? Although I guess, I know, maybe Walmart's appropriate for attacking people with ground beef logs. It sounds about right. I'll see you at the Walmart. We have here Melissa Blanchard pleading no contest to disorderly conduct in connection with this attack. She's been sentenced to a suspended jail term and a year of probation, in addition to a $155 fine. That's a strange, weird, specific amount of a fine. $155 for assaulting someone with a beef log in public, in a public market? All right, so Florida woman Blanchard runs into her neighbor in the supermarket. They're not naming the neighbor, but the neighbor was with a daughter at the time. The Florida woman confronted the neighbor in the potato chip aisle. Usually an aisle you don't expect a hoopla to evolve, because the potato chip aisle's pretty calm. Everybody in there knows the deal. And besides, when you're in the potato chip aisle, there's no time for fights. You have to concentrate. There's so many various types of potato chips. You need it quiet, no distractions. You're on a mission there. You're like, do I get the kettle chips? There's so many choices. Do I go kettle because I like the extra crunch? Do I go just classic potato chip? Do I go ruffled? Do I go Pringles, which technically aren't potato chips? They're potato substance chips. Apparently, I don't know what the name is now. Legally, they can't call themselves potato chips. Potato-like crisps. And then you got all of the flavors of potato chips. It's just out of control. You got dill pickle flavored potato chips, like exotic ones like that. And then, I'm a salt and vinegar person, but I'm not averse to just getting the old classic barbecue or sour cream and onion. I'm really, so you really need to concentrate in the potato chip section. And they're not cheap these days, so you're pretty much getting one bag, although the other day at Sprouts I saw they were selling 2 for $5. But that's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. Usually the potato chips are going to run you $5 a bag, so you really need time to parse through all the flavors. You got to pick something your entire family's going to like, which is hard as well, I'd imagine. That was quite a strange potato chip rant, but, it's kind of necessary. Okay, back to the action. It took place in the potato chip aisle. The suspect pulled down her neighbor's face mask and attempted to spit on her before threatening to beat her and her daughter up. Then the Florida woman grabbed a $22 meat log out of her neighbor's cart and struck her with it a couple of times in the face. She just grabbed a meat log out of her cart. Just started beating her with this, giving her a real meaty log swat. You could do some damage with a 10-pound hunk of meat, I'd imagine. Just be thankful it wasn't a whole turkey or something. Now, it says here, the Florida woman suspect had previously received a restraining order from this same neighbor, which she lives upstairs from her in a duplex. The Florida woman claims that she was under the impression that the restraining order had already expired. Okay. Oh, and now there's a picture of some all-natural ground beef in this article. Carne molida de res. It's all natural, they say. It's tough to believe that something's all natural when it's in the form of a log, but, we'll suspend belief for a while here. Do you want to know what happened to her? She was arrested for violating a restraining order and for assault. because she hit her with a 10-pound beef stick. She slapped her with a beefy brisket.
Washington has a spending problem, and the American people know it. But instead of eliminating Biden's Green New Scam, some Republicans want to raise taxes. Increasing taxes on Main Street and hardworking families is a gut punch. Voters didn't send Republicans to Washington to raise taxes. They sent them to cut spending and protect their paychecks. Congress has a choice: cut Biden's wasteful spending or raise taxes. Tell the politicians we need tax relief, not tax hikes. Learn more at protectprosperity.com. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
A Florida woman threatened to blow the heads off some middle schoolers who were fishing by her property. This is a new one. I've heard "get off my lawn." I've never heard "get off my pond." We have here a Florida woman that has been arrested after pulling a gun on two young boys attempting to fish in a pond close to her backyard. Her name is Donna Elkins, age 59. She reported two boys fishing in a pond by her backyard to police. What's the problem, these kids fishing in a pond near your property? Be thankful the kids are just fishing, considering what they could do. They're budding Florida men, after all. Just be thankful the kids are outdoors these days. You know, they stay in the house on their TikToks and their video games. They stay in their house on the TikToks, you know. I'm sounding like an old person right now. But my point is, you know, just be thankful kids are outside in the sunshine, you know, doing kid stuff. It's kind of a lost art. But of course, this Florida woman, this Karen, can't be normal. You can't just go out there, give the kids, you know, some juice boxes or a pre-roll and say, just, hey, enjoy the sunshine. Happy fishing. Good luck with you. But no, can't do it. Can't do it. Got to rush out there and be a Karen. What's the ethnicity of these children? I'd love to know. Like, is there something else going on here? Okay, so this lady, Donna, she reportedly told dispatchers that she confronted the two boys and petrified them, further explaining that she, quote, stopped them and they were laying on the ground. Why would you tell all that to dispatchers? Yeah, there's some boys fishing in a pond near my backyard. Yeah, don't worry, I petrified them. I'm not a psychopath, but I have them laying on the ground and there's a gun in my hand. Anyways, I got them in position, so if you want to come and arrest them for doing nothing, please feel free. Authorities responded to the home where they learned that upon spotting the children, Donna pointed a long black pellet gun at them, ordered them on the ground, and refused to let them leave and threatened to, quote, blow their heads off. Yeah, that's normal behavior. Tell some children that you're going to blow their heads off for fishing in the area. I mean, you can't really blow someone's head off with a pellet gun, but it's just more evidence of this woman being completely unhinged and having no grasp on reality whatsoever. Did you test her for the meth? Test her for the meth. The boys, who feared for their lives, complied with Donna's orders and remained on the ground for about 5 minutes until the Florida woman's husband emerged from their house and de-escalated the situation. The Florida husband, the husband comes out and is like, "Oh, so sorry, guys. My wife, you know, she's been day drinking again. You know how that can be, guys. You know, so sorry. I'm gonna get her back in the cage. Don't worry. You guys enjoy your fishing. Good luck to you." Authorities reported that Donna did not harm the boys and that they were not injured in the encounter. Yeah, she harmed them. It says they feared for their lives. She said she was going to blow their heads off. They probably didn't even know it was a pellet gun because those things look like real guns anyways. Depending on, and if you're really young, you don't know at all. You think this is a real gun and that someone's going to blow your heads off. This PTSD, these boys were harmed. All right? Something should happen to this woman. Two other children who witnessed the incident provided law enforcement with similar accounts of how events transpired. Here's a quote from Braden, who's 15 years old. It says, "She said she was going to blow our brains out and that if we didn't listen to her, she would shoot, that she was going to blow our heads off. In my head, it was a real gun. To me, it seemed like a real gun. And that she was going to shoot us and kill us, and the fact that she was saying she was going to blow our heads off, you can't do that with a pellet gun, but I really thought it wasn't a pellet gun. I thought it was a real gun, and that she was going to blow our heads off." Yeah, exactly. The kids thought it was a real gun. And I don't know if you paid attention to the news lately, but it's very liberal, the gun laws down in Florida. You can conceal carry a gun without a permit down there. I mean, they just love their guns. They really do. And those guns are just being whipped out all the time because, Florida people can't not solve their problems without the gun that's by their side. No, they need their guns to solve the problems. And in this instance, can't even solve an issue with children without the gun involved. It all makes sense, right? It all makes sense. Life is great down there. People are raising children in Florida. Imagine you're raising children in Florida. How would you be raising children in Florida? You raising children in Florida? I mean, I can't. I can't. I'm befuddled. Befuddled. A Florida woman is arrested for sharing explicit sexual chihuahua content. Did you notice a theme in this episode? It's all absolutely insane Florida women. We have a 27-year-old Florida woman who has been arrested and charged with sexual activity with a chihuahua, which she recorded and shared on social media. Well, all right, let's see some photos of the chihuahua first, right? Was this a good-looking chihuahua? For the record, I've never seen an attractive chihuahua. They look like tiny little baby rats, if I'm being honest. They have the worst bark. Oh, a chihuahua's bark just splits your head right in two. Okay, back to the chihuahua story. Just for the record, disclaimer, Weird AF News doesn't condone bestiality with your pets or any beast, any pets, any animals. It's psychotic behavior. We have here a Florida woman, suspect Logan Guminski. She was arrested after an anonymous tip informed law enforcement that Guminski shared the explicit content on social media. This explicit content with her chihuahua. I'm going to guess there's some peanut butter involved. Detective Jordan looked into it and traced the content to her. You got to put this content out there and your name is on it. I mean, how dumb are you? You're committing a crime and you put your name on it. Now, it says the detectives discovered other photos and video evidence of this sort of sexual animal abuse. The detective contacted Guminski, the Florida woman, who admitted that she's a content creator. Oh, you're a content creator, all right. Content creator. Unbelievable. Did it for the clicks, guys. Doing it for the clicks. Her and her chihuahua. She calls it licks for clicks. Disgusting. Another day wishing I couldn't read. Okay, so she claims she's a content creator. Someone paid her $500 via Snapchat for the chihuahua videos. Well, they say chihuahuas do like tacos. Just kidding, guy. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that joke, but we needed it. We needed to release the tension that was brought upon by the despicable behavior of this Florida woman. I'm curious to find out what the penalty is going to be. Okay, the Florida woman also claims she's done this before with a different dog, and those photos and videos were still on her phone. Just keeping the evidence. Why not? Just keep them on put them in the cloud while you're at it, genius. The Florida woman was taken into custody and charged with sexual activity involving an animal and filming sexual activity involving an animal. Speaking with the media, the detective on the case said, "Unfortunately, this isn't my first case of this nature. It's always shocking. It'll never not be shocking, especially when you have to watch the video. But I've seen this before, so it's not out of the ordinary, unfortunately." Yeah, people doing weird things with dogs and pets. Women doing weird sexual things with animals for the money and the followers. Just sell your underwear, ladies. What are you doing? Or team up with another pretty lady, make that content. You can still get money for that too, from my understanding. I don't pay these OnlyFans people for any of that. I wouldn't pay for such things. But guys out there, do it. They'll pay for your bath water. They'll probably buy your urine. And you can make videos not with animals. You can make them with other humans, and you'll get just as much money. This is just sick and completely unnecessary. Now, obviously, it's non-consensual because the dog can't consent. Now, as for the Chihuahua, thankfully, is in the custody of the Marion County Animal Services. As for the Florida woman, it says her Instagram has more than 14,000 followers. And in her bio, she calls herself, quote, a dog mom. Yeah, that's it, dog mom. Well, you ain't going to be a dog mom any longer, Florida woman. So sorry.
There's a good chance you're dealing with a middleman, like me, when you get your medicines. That's because PBMs and insurers are often the same company. We even own big chain pharmacies and are buying your doctor's office. We decide what medicines you can get, where you get them, and how much you pay. It's a win-win. For me.
When middlemen own it all, you lose. Visit phrma.org/middlemen to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
Hey, my friends and loyal listeners, weirdos, fans of Weird AF News. Thank you so much for spending some time with this episode of Florida Friday with me. Appreciate everyone that sent me Florida stories the last few days as well. Thank you so much. That was really, really helpful. Hope you're having a nice weekend, or maybe you had a nice weekend. Some shout-outs are in order here. First one is Tia Pennington in Texas. Tia is the owner of the Venus Salon and Spa in The Colony, Texas, and she wrote me a lovely note about how she has a salon and she lets her clients listen to Weird AF News, and they love it too. She says she's always spreading my podcast to everyone, and everyone loves it. And she says, thank you for all you do in preparing all the Weird AF News. We need more people in the world like you, but no one will ever compare. You're one of a kind, unique, and so talented, and happy belated birthday. So shout out to Tia and everyone that's listening at the Venus Salon and Spa. Very, very cool. If I'm ever in the area, I'll have to come in for a mani-pedi. I'm coming in for a mani-pedi. Just give me, I need a mani-pedi. So relaxing. I want to give a shout out to Goth Dogs 6300 on YouTube. That wrote me a very lovely comment on my podcast on YouTube. That ends with another funny serving of Weird AF News. Thank you, Jonesy, for starting my day right. And Goth Dogs loves the AI song that I put in there in yesterday's episode. The Weird AF News AI song that was made by Darren. In fact, maybe I'll just post it again at the end of this for those of you who haven't heard it. So if you want to stick around, I'm going to post the Weird AF News song that was created using AI by a super fan of the show, Darren McClure. So shout out to Darren again. We'll play the song. If you'd like a copy of it, I'll send you the MP3. Just email me, funnyjones@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, you can go to weirdafnews.com. And that's a place you can do a PayPal donation. You can buy me a coffee if you feel like it, or you can join the Patreon, which is cool. If you join the Patreon, you can even play in the fantasy football, the Weird AF News Patreon Fantasy Football League, which will happen in the fall. So that's pretty cool. In addition, you get all kinds of extra content as well. So consider joining the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/weirdafnews or weirdafnews.com. All right. Have a good one. Take it easy, but take it.
Oh, Pod Daddy. Good luck with your life, man.
Scrolling through the morning feed, not looking for the standard reads. Something different in my ears today. Weird AF News makes the headlines feel okay. Jonesy hits like a notification sound. The way his stories turn the world around. Every morning I wake, Weird AF News, and that's exactly what the people need. Whoa. Remember ranking friends online back in 2001, divine. Now I'm ranking podcasts in my queue. We put you right up there at number 2, then number 1, because you made us smile when the world was spiraling. Finding comfort in absurdity, making sense of what could never be. The algorithm knows us all way too well. Jonesy's updates ring just like a bell. Every morning wake up to Weird AF News. Some days the stories seem insane, like cats who ride on aeroplanes, or someone teaching ducks to dance, or pickles gaining sentience. But in between the wild and weird, the daily chaos disappears, and suddenly we understand why starting days like this feels grand. Added Weird AF News on Instagram. Jonesy's tweets make your mornings jam. When the regular news weighs too strong, Weird AF News reminds us where we all belong. In this space between the lines, where the weirdest headlines shine. Every morning we